there's a lot of lawyers kind of fall into immigration. Is that kind of what happened in your case?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'll try to tell a story, really funny story, kind of quickly. But our immigration lawyer left probably about 2005 or so,
Hmm.
and the senior partner came to me and said, "Hey, we want you to take over the immigration practice." And first words out of my mouth was, "Well, the only thing I know about immigration is it involves foreigners." And he said, "Oh, don't worry about it. It's all forms, so you don't have to worry about a thing." And I'm like, "Yeah, right, uh-huh." And I was already transitioning from being a labor lawyer to being an employment lawyer, wage and hour, and FMLA and everything. Seemed like that was a lot to put on my plate, so
Hmm.
I turned it down that time. They hired somebody else. That person didn't work out, so they came back to me, and about a year or so later. And at that point, I said, "Okay, but I got to believe it's a little more than just forms. I literally am just going to have to take time to start reading books,
Yeah.
at work, and counting that as work hours." And so I had about a month where basically I just, I read the immigration practice, and something else
What years
also.
was this?
This was 2007.
Okay.
So,
So
um,
yeah, a lot of the big changes that happened in 2007. I mean, there's been big changes since then, but like this is post 9/11 kind of time. Okay.
right, yeah. So, it was, and as I knew that my senior partner was, BSing me, that it was just going to be a bunch of forms. But I started it. I continued to do some labor employment because I stayed with the firm, and I became I mean, I was the head of my immigration section because I was the only person doing it. So it's pretty easy to be the head of the section. But um, I hadn't been doing it very long when one of the other partners came to me and said, "Hey, one of our clients just got a notice from the Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE. They want to see their I-9s. Um, we need you to get out there to figure out what the hell's going on." And I said, "Great." So, I had, read up on some I-9 compliance stuff because I knew we represented a lot of employers because we were a medium-sized firm.
Hmm.
And so I wished I was, fully ready for it, but I don't. I know I wasn't, but I faked it pretty good. And went out there. Luckily, it was right here in Nashville, Tennessee, and they made one of my favorite candies. So a side benefit was I did get a lot of candy while I was there. Um, and they had several hundred employees, and so first thing I did was pick up the phone to whoever, the agent that had delivered the. Back then, it was just a notice of inspection. They didn't have a subpoena attached to it back then, and said, "Hey, you haven't given us very much time to respond. Can we get a little more time?" And I don't know, maybe we got 3 days, 5 days extra. Usually, only, I mean, you can get just 3 business days. Now, often ICE will be, nicer on the front end and give you more, but they don't have to.
Yeah.
And you do request an extension, they don't have to. I mean, you have to use your persuasive powers to convince them that you ought to get an extension. And most of the time, it works. Um, there are some offices that they just laugh at you. Atlanta, it's like, yeah, well, get your stuff here in 3 days, or don't get anything at all. I think Chicago gave me 1 extra day, and one time Nashville told me no. Well, they never told me no. They said, "We'll consider your request, but if you don't hear from us, we're not going to grant it." Unfortunately, my client had somebody die on the job site the day before, and he was undocumented, and so OSHA was already on the site, and they weren't too hep on giving us a break. So,
Yeah.
but that case, that notice of inspection back in 2007, it went great. The results were no fines, got a warning notice, which, quite frankly, is a celebration
Yeah.
when you don't get fined. But it little trial by fire. Immediately realized that the my client had a lot of not a lot, some undocumented folks working there. Um, Most of the time, clients don't know that because, as I like to say, there's a lot of good fake documents out there. Some are better than others. Chicago seems to have the best fake document that I've dealt with. Nashville's not very good. But and then at that point you have a decision to make for the client. If you figure out that there are fake, then they are undocumented. Now you didn't know it until that point, so you can fire them then, or you can wait for ICE to tell you that, hey, these, get a notice of suspect documents, meaning, hey, their documents don't match our records. Either they produce something new, or you're going to have to terminate them. So sometimes it's better to terminate them on the front end because you can control it a little better. Sometimes though, the employer doesn't want to do it on the front end because it's a matter of numbers.
Mhm.
They're not ready. I mean, they don't have any folks waiting to get hired.
Yeah.
It's going to hurt their production. So this company, as I recall, they wanted to terminate. They wanted to do everything they could to get in line. And so, a few uncomfortable situations of, terminating some folks. I was a little worried about whether my tires would be slashed when I got out to the car on that I was out there on a Saturday. So, it worked. I enjoyed it. I mean, and I've told many an attorney and client that I really do enjoy I-9 compliance work, and I enjoy the ICE audits. Most immigration attorneys have told me I'm crazy because most people, you get into immigration, you want to help people, you want to help get somebody a green card, get somebody citizenship, help an employer, bring in some workers. Here, it's a little different, but your goal is to try to minimize the penalties that your client will face, and for that, I I I I sense a lot of pride if I can get them for no penalties at all. A warning notice. A couple times my clients have gotten what I call the perfect score, where you get a letter saying everything was basically perfect, and they don't even get a warning notice. Those are always fantastic. They don't happen very often, but and then so from there, I just I got the opportunity to do more and more I-9 audits, ICE audits, and that firm had was nationwide really, and so had clients all around. So whether it was here in Nashville, or in Georgia, or wherever. So I got access to a lot of I-9 audits, and felt good about it. Did a good job. Started building up an expertise.
Yeah.
As time went on, felt more and more comfortable, and luckily that is continued to this day.